If you had to boil down the experience to one word, what is your word for All Stars 5?
Sydney, no! That's 2 words, but
I think it counts as one.
Yes,
Alexis might be coming for a check for that.
Hello.
Well, hi, Shea.
Hi, Brian.
I wanna start just by talking about this moment in time we're in. And you have amazingly stepped up to use your platform to shine light on this moment. And I just wanna talk about next steps. Where do we go from here?
I think next steps and what's important is to continue to amplify the voices of Black people, especially while we're in Pride Month, Black trans people. Because when we really want to talk about movements and making advances forward, and we want to talk about equality, the thing that's most important is thinking about the most vulnerable members of our community and finding ways to make life easier and safer for them. How can we find legislation to make this world more inclusive for them? And then from there, once we have these conversations, then it is up to us to hold white people and people of privilege accountable for taking the necessary steps to help eradicate systemic racism and oppression. The work is now being placed over into the hands of white people, because if we're going to undo racism, then we need to do it from the root, and we have to look at where it started from. And white supremacy is something that has been created by white people. So if we're going to dismantle it, then we need to talk to the creators.
What has it meant to you to see the community of Drag Race really step up in this moment to help educate and spread this message?
I mean, we've always been girls that have really been outspoken about racial injustices. But I think right now in this moment in time, the microphone has been turned around to the people that have not been listened to in the past. And now we have to really take this opportunity as people with platforms to come together on a united front to help educate the masses on how we can break down these barriers.
You touched briefly on this, but I think it does mean something that this is intersecting with the month of Pride. Can you speak to that a little bit about how this is all coming to a head as Pride Month is starting?
Yes, I think it's actually very interesting that this is all coming to a head during Pride Month, specifically because Pride Month came about because we were protesting police brutality. And when we think about the community leaders at that time, back in 1969, the people that were really out there organizing on behalf of the people were trans women of color like Marsha P. Johnson.
Darling, I want my gay rights now!
So if we're going to go forward in this current political climate that we're in, I think that it's really important to acknowledge that before we were even here, it was Black and brown trans people that were really championing for us to have the ability to march in the streets hand in hand, celebrating our love. We just have to continue on in this path. Yes, this has been a crazy and really intense 2 weeks, but we're talking about over 400 years of systemic oppression. And though we made some strides this past 2 weeks, we still have a very long way to go. And I want to be encouraging for our allies, but I also want to challenge white people to understand, like, yeah, you've done some things and spoken to some friends, this 2 weeks, so we have to continue the momentum. We have to keep going. We still have to, stay in this fight and continue on for equality, because that's the only way that it's going to happen. The way that one thing that my mom always said growing up is the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
100%. All right. Thank you for all of that. And thank you for all the work you're doing that you continue to do. Let's take a pivot now to talk about your All Stars 5 journey.
The revolution starts now! I'm black.
It is so exciting to have you back on TV because you were such an all-star on your original season. What did you feel like you had left to prove coming back this time?
I feel like the only thing that I had left to prove is to carry off a successful lip sync. That's where I stumbled last time. But coming in this time, I really wanted to make this journey one about personal growth. When I came in, I had decided that the competition that I was going to be playing was going to be against myself and against my own inner saboteur. Also helped me to overcome a lot of just like personal issues that I was dealing with after season 9. You know, it was a really big ego blow. I had to go through an entire ego death, you know, in order to come back and rebuild myself and be in a position where I really could say that I could really handle the responsibility and the privilege that comes along with being in the Hall of Fame.
Do you have any PTSD anytime you see rose petals now?
No, I love rose petals. I mean, Valentine's Day is always a little bit confronting because they're everywhere. But besides that, no, me and rose petals were all good.
Did you feel pressure of like trying to come up with a stunt that could, you know, be your answer to that?
I feel like, yeah, there's definitely like all this pressure to, you know, be like, oh, you know, what's your answer to that? I think, again, I had to focus on what was going to be best for me and what was going to uplift me in this experience. But I guess you're just going to have to continue to see what I pull out this season. I don't want to get too much away.
When you saw the full lineup there, did anybody give you pause like, oh, this bitch is here, I have to step it up?
No, because I already came ready to be fully stepped up. You know, there's nobody that I didn't already be like, okay, do I think I can honestly, truly beat her? And we'll just have to see.
You are coming into our TV screens a fan favorite. When I was talking to all the season 12 queens, 9 out of the 12 said you are their choice to win this season. Does that add any pressure?
No, because at the end of the day, it's all said and done. I've done absolutely everything that I could do. And at the end of the day, I'm really proud of what I did. And I just hope that my performance on All Stars 5 lives up to the expectations of the fans and of all the people that support me. And if for any reason I do disappoint people, then I'm going to say, you do it, damn it.
That's the attitude. Now, you came in thinking the show is going to be one thing, and they flipped the script and changed some of the rules up on you.
The top All-Star of the week will lip sync for her legacy, but she'll be competing against a secret lip sync assassin.
How do you really feel about the lip sync assassin twist?
I knew there was going to be a twist. Look, because here's the thing. We had All-Stars 2, 3, and 4 with the format of the double winners. And I just said to myself, I was like, there's no way we're going to do All-Stars 5 and they're not going to find some way to switch this up. Because I was like, at this point, the girls feel like they know what to expect. And that doesn't make for an interesting competition. So I already kind of had my guard up when I came in, because I was like, I know RuPaul, there's always some shenanigans. But when they revealed the lip sync assassin plot line, I realized I was like, hey, this is a great opportunity to redeem myself as a lip sync assassin, you know, because that means that I got to be able to take on someone who is notably an amazing lip syncer. And once RuPaul revealed that the cash prize would be rolling over if the girl didn't beat the lip sync assassin, that was when I was all like, now this is the game that I want to play.
It's also a game your bank account probably wants to play.
Hello. My bank account was looking at that like, okay, Miss Ma'am, let's do this.
I really loved the statement you put out last week about your thoughts of the state of the world before the premiere. And in talking to your sisters, it sounds like some of the conversations you guys had in the workroom, you know, behind the scenes of the competition are going to speak actually to this moment in time now. Little did you know.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about that?
I think about my Angelou quote where she says, people may not remember what you said or what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And there were so many people involved in this process that were committed to uplifting one another and making sure that everyone did their best, because everybody understood the importance of this show and that it provides hope to a lot of people around the world. And I think now more than ever, it's really important to communicate and carry that message. So I'm really hoping that it really does show through on camera the way that we felt off camera.